Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms, firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it, we're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can know where the conversation is taking place. Also, if you haven't already done so, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And in the case of YouTube and Facebook, make sure you hit that notification button. That way you'll be notified as soon as we go live, and then you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. Also, take a moment and visit fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. It is the place to go to get all of your Pro 2A swag. I'm talking tank tops, T-shirts, coffee mugs. I'm talking stuff for the home or the office, even a mask so that you can go out and enjoy indoors, outdoors, well, away from your home with your friends in places that require masks, but you can make sure that you can, send the appropriate message while you're doing it. Now, the best part about it is every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight for your right to keep and bear arms so you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's fpcgear.com. All right, you guys know it's election time, and so we're talking more and more about election stuff. Keep in mind, the Firearms Policy Coalition does not endorse. We do not endorse candidates. We are not into candidate endorsement. What we do is that we educate you. We educate you on where the candidates stand, what their record has been on various different issues, specifically relating to the Second Amendment, and then we let you make up your minds for yourselves. So with that, we felt that it was appropriate to announce that one of the presidential candidates has actually, they're taking a stand, a firm stand on the Second Amendment. That's right. Vice President or former Vice President Joe Biden has introduced a new coalition to support him in his run, him and Kamala Harris in their run for presidency and vice president of the United States. And that would be the Sportsmen and Women for Biden. That's right. These are sports folks. These are folks who are into outdoorsy stuff, in particular, who they make it a point, are into hunting. Now, why do I say, and I think it's important for me to note, why do I say, why are they into hunting? Well, if one looks at their, their front page, the mask on their head front page, you check it out. So they've got the manly men with a shotgun out there looking over the fields, thinking, what am I going to shoot today? I just wanted to make sure that this sort of imagery, I think, is vitally important to understand that this is exactly the type of image that they're trying to portray in order to make it so that, that we believe that Vice President Biden actually supports the Second Amendment. Because, clearly, here's a guy out here with a shotgun, right? Right? That's got to be what he supports. So let's get into a little bit of what these sportsmen and women, who they are and what they're about. Now, if you look here, these are the folks who are on the steering committee for his event. Now, there's something that I wanted you guys to notice here. Whether some of these names are some that you'll recognize, Ken Salazar, Sean Logan. But the interesting thing about all of these, if you notice, all of these are all people who held some sort of a position. They're all government bureaucrats. Every single one of them. But not just government bureaucrats. Let's go a little bit further into the list. You go a little bit further into the list and you notice, guess what? They're all current or former Democrat politicians. So they're all former politicians. Now, this is not exactly a who's who of quote-unquote sportsmen. But I think it's fair enough to say that the primary point behind this whole list was to show, look, there are all these people who are into outdoorsy stuff. No, they're trying to say these are all people who are into guns. Look at all these gun owners who support Joe Biden. Wow. So I'm assuming that means because a bunch of former politicians and a bunch of former bureaucrats support Joe Biden, well, he must be a good guy on the Second Amendment. He's going to protect my right to keep and bear arms. In fact, he as much as said so. In their press release when they announced this group, they made it a point to point out exactly what he stood for. It says here, starting right off, look, Joe Biden has committed to key principles that will ensure a strong future for hunting and fishing in America. He will protect the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans to purchase and responsibly use firearms for hunting and sporting. Because that's what the Second Amendment is about, right? It's about hunting and, it's about hunting, right? Hunting and sporting. That's what the Second Amendment was. That wasn't what it was drafted for? Are you sure? Well, okay. Well, yeah, whatever you say. Okay, anyway, but that's what the Second Amendment was drafted for, at least according to Joe Biden and those in the Second Amendment and in sporting's group that actually wound up supporting him want you to believe. So let's take a look at his support of hunting and sporting and the Second Amendment. Let's take a look at Joe Biden's record. First of all, he's against the idea of 9mm pistols. And I think that's important to recognize. This was a quote that he actually had at a fundraiser. He said, "Why should we allow people to have military-style weapons, including pistols with 9mm bullets that can hold 10 or more rounds?" Excuse me, Mr. Biden, but I thought that most 9mm pistols, which generally aren't used for hunting, I thought that most of them actually generally tend to hold more than 10 rounds, standard magazine capacity. But I get it. You support the Second Amendment, but I'm a little confused. Here. Just saying. Okay. I am sure on the next slide we will find that the president is firmly in support of the Second Amendment. Here we go. If you need more than 10 rounds, that's right. This has something to do with his support of. He wants restrictions on the number of rounds. Once again, not just in 9mm pistols, but also when it comes to shotguns. It says here, if you need more than 10 rounds to hunt, and some argue they hunt with that many rounds, you shouldn't be hunting. If you can't get a deer in 3 shots, you shouldn't be hunting. You're an embarrassment. Wow. Okay. So in other words, now we have a maximum number of shells that an individual should be able to have. So, so now does this mean that he wants to limit it to 3? I'm not sure exactly how, hunters who, want to protect Second Amendment rights, feel about that particular deal. But okay, Mr. Biden, we'll give that one to you. Okay. All right. Let's move right along. Oh, then there has to do with his pushing a federal ban in the import of hunting trophies. Well, okay, I'm not really going to speak to this because, we're not a hunting group. FPC's we're not a hunting group. If you hunt, great, wonderful. But I would think that this kind of just undermines just a little bit, hunting. I mean, those who are into hunting, and if you go to someplace else, if you go to another country and you decide you want to hunt and you want to bring your trophy home, we kind of think that this would be a bad idea. I don't see exactly how this supports hunters. But all right, Mr. Biden, I'll give you that one. Okay, so now, okay, yeah, you support Second Amendment, you support hunters, I think. But let's also not forget the lead ammunition ban that was supported by, or that was enacted under the tutelage or supervision of his vice presidential candidate, his vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris. That's what happened. One of the things that happened in California. But if we really want to know kind of where the vice president stands on the use of shotguns, I just figured this would be a funny one to add because, well, I'm sure you guys recall this one.
Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. I promise you, who's ever coming in is not going to, you don't need an AR-15.
Anyway, folks, look, here's the deal. Once again, I'm going to say it again. Firearms Policy Coalition does not endorse for or against candidates. Here's what we do, though. We encourage you to vote your values. All right? You need to vote your values. And if you're watching this show, I'm assuming that high amongst those values is your support for the Second Amendment, right? The right to keep and bear arms. And I think we can all safely say that, this has nothing. It has nothing to do with hunting. It has nothing to do with sports shooting. It has everything to do with having a right to defend yourself, your family, your community against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It has to do with the ability to stand up against a tyrannical government. That's what the Second Amendment is about. Its core comes from our fundamental human right of self-defense, one that is not given to us by our Constitution, but is actually given to us by and endowed to us by our Creator. And folks, I think it's safe to say that if you look at the two tickets, the two candidates running for president and two candidates running for vice president, it is clear that there's one who stands above the other. Neither is perfect, but I think it's clear that you can look and see which one supports. You can look and see under which one you have a better chance of your Second Amendment being protected. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and then telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.